What's up, everybody? How you doing? Thank you so much for tuning in to Good News. I'm Josh Johnson. I do this live whenever I can. I'm trying to make it as close to like a weekly, bi-weekly thing as I can. But thank you so much for tuning in now. And I have dates. I'm going to be touring. I'm going to be touring all over the U.S. If you don't see your city when you look at this poster, all you got to do, it's very easy to fix. All you got to do is join the email list and let me know where you want me to come. If you don't see your city here, just let me know where you are and I will try to get over there, even if it's not in the country, because I definitely plan to be traveling all around the world in the future. And if you go to my website, joshjohnsоncomedy.com, and you do not see your city, or you see your city but it's sold out, all you have to do then is join the wait list. The wait list helps me know if I'm going to be able to add another show and how to directly connect with you when I do add a show. Because the last thing I want is for any middlemen to be able to get in the way and try to scam you or upsell you on tickets. I want to be able to send directly to you the link, because I try to keep my tickets as cheap as I possibly can so everyone can come to the show and have a good time. So first off, I hope that you've had a great week so far. If you have had a great week so far, you're only halfway through the week. It's only going to get better. If you've had a bad week, the week is half over and it will get better. Okay? I wanted to start tonight with a story that was on my mind. It really piqued my interest, and it's why I made the thumbnail, because it was something that I had a lot of feelings about. Okay. Georgia woman calls 911 to get raccoon tased, have deputies Google restaurant hours for her. So this is the thing. There are some people, and you know, we've talked about it. The internet's gone on and on about it for years now, how there are some people that overuse the police. They sort of here they come now. They sort of indulge in hitting that 9 and that 1 and that 1. They feel very comfortable doing it, you know? And I think that in a story like this, it's at least a fun way to take note. Hey, is this a 911 emergency? Is this something that's really important? Because we'll go through the story real quick, but the raccoon, we don't know. We don't know. Right? As someone who personally has been climbed by a possum, I wish 911 had been there. I wish police or EMT or whoever had been near me at the time of the possum climbing. I could have used that help. So when it came to the raccoon, I was still kind of on her side. When she called 911 to get them to Google restaurant hours for different, that's when I was like, oh, you don't know what this is. You don't actually know how this thing functions. So let's go through the story real quick. A Columbia County woman was arrested on Sunday after sheriff's deputies said she was repeatedly calling 911 for non-emergency issues. And I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of good to see the police finally take action where you just call it recklessly, like just call it over and over again, just be calling. Because the Columbia County Sheriff's Office told the Augusta Chronicle that the 54-year-old woman had been calling 911 with more and more frequency over the last few months. So it started out fine. Started out with like, hey, can you come get this raccoon? And all they got to do then is be like, ma'am, that's animal control. Call animal control, right? She just started calling more and more. According to an incident report, the woman called 911 on May 12th around 1:15 a.m. saying that she had a raccoon on her front porch and she wanted a deputy to tase it. That may have been an escalation. That may have been an overstep on her part, because we still don't know what this raccoon was doing. Was it just living? Was it just existing? Was it just on the porch for a second and was about to hop in a tree? Like what was really happening here? Because tase it immediately, that's somebody who's got beef with this particular raccoon. Yeah, I mean, that's somebody trying to use police force on this raccoon that's just really going about its business, right? Unless they had a history. Maybe this raccoon had broken in before. Maybe it had some of her snacks. Maybe she came home one day, cereal boxes all turned upside down, raccoon sitting in her kitchen, looking at her like, what you gonna do about it? And then running out the little doggy door. Maybe that happened. We weren't there. She then called back an hour later asking to have a deputy come to her home to escort her to the dumpster. Now, I'm not going to lie. In this particular case, I am also with her here, okay? Because that raccoon was on the porch when you called the first time. So it heard you make the call. So now you're not going to walk out of your house in front of the raccoon all brazen with a raccoon knowing that you tried to snitch, right? So this actually was not that bad of a move. Like, hey, if y'all aren't going to tase him, at least make sure that I get back in safe, because I've set myself up horribly in this situation, right? Okay. And then around 5:30 p.m. that same day, she called 911 saying she needed a deputy to Google the hours of 3 businesses because she was hungry. Now, this is where you can tell that somebody just thinks the police works for them personally. Like just them. There are some people who talk about the more like, what is it? I guess the more like academic side and the bigger issue with people feeling like they own the police, right? But this is a very subtle way where someone's like, they're just hanging out. Do you know what I mean? And who knows? Maybe this county doesn't have a lot of crime. Maybe they were just chilling. And then she was like, if y'all just gonna be sitting here and you're not gonna come tase the raccoon or escort me to my dumpster, because the raccoon wants that dumpster as well. That's another reason that you need backup when you go to that dumpster, because you opening it, but then that raccoon jumps in. Now, garbage man doesn't want to come because he's like, this is all loose garbage. You're supposed to use bags. I did use bags, but the raccoon got in. 12 seconds later, she called 911 again, but did not speak. A deputy eventually went to the woman's house and she told him she was fine, right? And I think that was probably just a little bit spiteful. That was for her to prove a point, to be like, hey, look, you could come. Raccoon's even gone now. Why couldn't you just come the first time I called? And it does seem like this is later, because this article is later than the May 12th incident. So she must have kept calling, and then they finally were like, let's just bring you to the station. Let's bring you downtown. And I'd like to think that her one phone call from jail was also 911. There was also like, hey, y'all gonna need to pick me up. I'm with y'all. Please come get me from you. Let me know in the chat what you would have done in this situation, right? Because I think that this person is just someone who needs somebody to talk to, right? Just somebody who could be like hitting up a phone and not have any consequences, And if you are someone listening and that's what you need, you want to text random stuff, you know, you don't feel comfortable texting a person who you may see again, so you just want to text randomly things like, man, I wish somebody would come tase this raccoon on my porch. You could text me. I actually have set up a phone number. This phone number is for people who want to text to let me know, hey, come to my city. It's another way outside of emails and the comments to let me know what city you're in. It's also a way for me to let you know when I have new drops coming out. So like, let's say I have a comedy album coming out or my special is dropping or something like that. I can also text you and let you know. Or you could text me about raccoons you've run into in your life. The number, if you're curious, is starts with a 1, little +1 because we're in the U.S. 347-921-9311. That's 1-347-921-9311. So, ma'am, if you're out there, leave the police alone unless it's an emergency. Text me. Let me know because I'm curious. I want to know what this saga with you and the raccoon is turning out to be, right? Because it would be low-key wild if she had the same raccoon just sort of terrorizing her house for quite a while. Like, in my mind, any animal that's in the wild that's, like, bothering you is probably, like, 9 of them. You know what I mean? You know that thing, like, they say in New York that if you have a mouse in your apartment, you really have 3 mice, and you're just seeing each mouse a different time? Okay, moving on. GOP Senate candidate I think it's Hung Kao, but I could be wrong about that. You can correct me in the chat if I'm getting the pronunciation wrong because I don't want to mess up his name. Hung Kao warns of witchcraft happening in California. We can't let that happen in Virginia. So this is someone who is running for Tim Kaine's seat. And my man is, in a way, it's a very interesting conversation he had because I've been to a lot of parties in LA, and he's not wrong that there are a lot of witches in LA and New York. And they tell you up front. They're like, "No, I'm a witch. You know, I do spells and stuff." And I never ask, but people always tell me. And I remember the first time someone told me, and I thought that they were being like hyperbolic, right? And then when they started describing it to me, I was like, oh, no, this is how you roll. And I don't think that he's saying that California is overrun with witches. And I would say that, like, I've met 5. I've met 5 practicing witches. And I don't know, overrun is pretty hyperbolic. You know what I mean? He also says in this article that that he's African American because he spent some time in Niger, which is a reach. It's one of those things where he doesn't really specify, if I remember correctly, how much time he spent there, but it's a weird thing to say, and it's weirder than the witch thing, because the witch thing is like, you maybe just met the 5 that I've met all in the same 20 minutes. And you're like, we're overrun. They're everywhere, right? But the African-American thing is it's pretty wild. Hung Kao, a Republican running for U.S. Senate in Virginia, warned in an interview this week that witchcraft has taken over in some parts of California. After losing to Democrat Representative Jennifer Wexton by less than 10 percentage points in 2022, Kao is seeking to take on Democratic Senator Tim Kaine, who's running for a 3rd term. In the interview with Sean, I don't know how to say this man's last name either. I gotta learn names. Is it Fouch? Fooch? A California-based far-right pastor who was busy during 2020, has rallied against wokeness at Disney. And in this, it looks like in this, Cal lamented that Christianity had declined in influence in the U.S. Oh, that's basically what he's saying, is that everything's turning into witchcraft, which I don't know, man. These are some tough reaches. This is the problem with having a podcast, because you do run out of stuff to talk about, and nobody wants to admit it. Whether it's 24-hour cable news or podcast, everyone wants to act like they have something to say about everything. And sometimes you don't. Sometimes you're out of stuff. Like me. Take me, for example. Maybe this episode of Good News will be 30 minutes. Maybe it'll be 12 because I might run out. I might be like, well, that's all that I really have. And isn't it better to do that than to just start going on and saying weirder stuff because you're trying to fill time? Let's see. Early in the interview, Cal, a Vietnamese refugee, also remarked that he was African American by virtue of having spent time in Niger as a child. So yeah, that's what I thought it was. Which is like, I've visited places. Like I've been to France a few times, and it never made me leave feeling French. And that's not even because I still can't speak French or because I don't really fully know everything about the culture. It's because I'm not French. That's why I didn't feel it after I left. Like, my man is acting like being in Africa just takes an effect on you. You know what I mean? Like, just after a while, you just become Africa, which is not how it works at all. You were in a place for a while. And he even says, so the host is saying your history is like breaking stereotype after stereotype, and you're conservative and you love God and you love America. And then Cal just fully interrupted with, and I'm African American because I grew up in Africa too. But spent some time and grew up are also different things. Like, tell me in the chat, how long you think you'd need to I'm sorry. How long you think you would need to be in Africa to just become African? Like what? Like a part of me is trying to get what he's saying, because I understand how, just like with someone who moves here and they start to feel like a European American, like I get that stuff, but it doesn't sound like he was there for long. Maybe I'm wrong, but okay, wait. Hung Kao apparently lived in West Africa for 7 years. So is 7 years the cutoff? Okay, thank you for that, by the way, because I did not see that anywhere in the article. Yeah, I mean, is 7 years? At 7 years, are you like, guys, I'm African now? 20 years minimum, and even then, okay, GTBKTS said 20 plus years minimum, and even then, ... A lot of y'all are saying a decade, and I think that, yeah, he came just under a little bit. Yeah, because this isn't about looks, by the way. Like, there are people of all descents that are actually African, that, you know, grew up in Africa, live in Africa and everything. But my man, just the way he threw it in makes it seem less authentic. Do you know what I mean? Like, the way the way he was like, and don't forget, I'm an African American. Also, as if there wouldn't be questions. All right. I don't know, because I'm trying to think for me, like let's say I went back to France and I stayed. Like, at a certain point, you could become a French citizen, and then it's pretty fair to say that you're French. This just feels like he was kind of running out of stuff, but he really wanted to like check as many boxes as possible. So he was like, "Hey, I was in Africa for 7 years, so that counts for something. The sun is different there. That counts." Let me see. Okay, all right. I'm looking in the chat right now. Yes. Zen Master Sports and Short says there is no African nationality. And this is my thing. If he had said, like, I'm from Niger, right? I feel like nobody could hold him on that. If he had been like, you're breaking stereotype after stereotype, and then he was like, yes, and I also grew up in Niger. That is an interesting fact. That's something I wouldn't assume or know about this person unless he told me, right? But to just be like, and I'm African American, don't check. That feels weird. I don't know. Y'all can let me know in the chat if I'm wrong. I'm willing to be wrong about this, but this is You have to be born there or become a citizen. Okay, so Melissa Diaz says you have to be born there or become a citizen. And that's what I was kind of saying. I was like, hey, if someone, yes, someone can be of Vietnamese descent and then they're born in an African country, right? So they're born in Kenya. They're born in, and so then if they come over to the US and they say like, I'm Kenyan American, that does make sense to me because they were born in the country and then but the way that my man just goes, and I'm African American. Oh gosh. Okay. All right. Okay. Moving on. This one, I'm not gonna lie, y'all may even log off on me for this one because this is one of those things where when I started good news, and every time that I try to do good news, I try to bring you genuine good news. I try to bring you things that are light, that make me laugh, that hopefully make you laugh at everything. And I'm not always going to get it right, but I feel like I'm right about this one. This one to me is very funny, okay? The story comes out of Mexico, and it says, fire breather fights off marauding mariachis in turf war over tips. Now, I want to be clear here. I don't want anybody to get hurt. The only reason I'm doing the story is that nobody got seriously injured. But I've traveled not around the world as in every place, but I've been to lots of places. And I will say that sometimes, especially with music, there's a weird thing that happens where I've definitely been in a like a mariachi situation before where, you know, they rolled up and they were playing and it was great. It was like rhythmic. It was beautiful. I was enjoying it. And when they got done, I did feel like I had low key been jumped with music. Because I wasn't like, hey, come play over here. They had actually approached me from sort of the back, like the back right. And then before I knew it, it was just 3 guitars and they were playing. I was like, all right, we're doing. But then when they got done, they were like, you enjoy the show, right? And that, I'm not gonna lie, it was a weird feeling. Because then also I'm trying to like pay them, you know, for their time and everything, and I'm hoping I'm giving enough. But it felt like in that moment. You ever see the movie Desperado with Antonio Banderas or El Mariachi, which is actually the first installment of that series? It ends with Once Upon a Time in Mexico, which has Antonio Banderas and Johnny Depp in it. And in there, you know, Antonio Banderas is in this mariachi band, but they can play very well, but all of the cases for the instruments are actually weapons, right? So one of the guys has a guitar, but is really just a torpedo, like a rocket launcher, and he will flip it up and, you know, shoot a torpedo out of the front. And then Antonio Banderas's guitar is full of guns, and so he's very good at like he's a marksman. He really there are some shots that pop off in that movie that just don't even seem realistic. He's that good. And then there was another guy that I kind of forgot about, but he had something. He had something going on with his guitar. But what's wild about this is that this guy, the fire breather, was just performing, right? And I guess the mariachis thought, hey, this is our space. Like this is our whole section. Don't come over here, right? But then he's in the middle of performing, so he's like, hey, I'm doing my thing, so how about you back off? Now, in real life, not how I felt. In real life, this actually happened. The mariachis jumped this dude, right? So it's like 5 or 6 of them jumped this dude. And so then he's trying to fend for himself because he's alone. And then he starts fighting them with fire, right? So he fought punches with fire. And I'm glad everyone is in this situation, is okay and gonna be okay. But I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty wild that street performers can just turn into X-Men like that. You know, like this dude didn't just, and when you see it, it's the way he's shooting. Okay, yeah, just the way that he's shooting the fire, you would think he didn't need anything. Like you'd think he could just do it off the jump, right? And so he catches a couple of them. Like he catches a couple of them outright. So some of the ones that were like really jumping them and kicking them and stuff like that, he jumps up and he's like, like a dragon, and then they take off running, and everyone that runs from the fight doesn't come back. Now, the thing that I did like about the story is that I hate bullies, right? Like I really hate bullies, and so when I see somebody stand up to a bully, I'm always rooting for that person. And to me, no matter what you say about tips and turf and all that stuff like that, 5-on-1 is bullying, right? Like they didn't have to jump this man like that. So the fact that he popped up and then he went full like Johnny Storm on him, just full like, and then they got caught, they got lit up, I ain't gonna lie. I was excited for him. I hope some people saw that and tipped him off of that, because that's a real performance right there. That lets you know that he's not just for show, right? It's like when a magician does something, when you like hand a magician just a dollar bill you have out of your pocket and they still do magic with it. That's when I'm like, oh, you might be a witch. That's what I don't like. I like you having your own deck of cards that I can at least tell myself that you did something to before you showed me the cards. When you do magic with just the pen that's on my desk, that's upsetting, right? This dude came through with the full, no, Sandra, you're exactly right. The firebender full stop. And I don't know, I loved it. I love the fact that he, he really lit him up. Like, I don't even know if I should be laughing this hard, but like, you can tell for a second that the mariachi guys are even kind of like, what are you doing? And they're just, it's crazy. Let me see. All right. Ursula said 5-on-1 is a KD drama. It did feel like anime. Yeah, it felt like anime in real life. The way that this dude just stayed ready and wasn't letting up either. Like, he caught one on fire, and then I think a couple more still tried to come at him, and then he was like, y'all could get some too. And he blew fire on them. And they all had to take their jackets off and everything. Oof. I mean, let me know in the chat how y'all feel about this. Let me see. Okay. I'm getting DD4 says firebender is greater than stringbender. And I'm with you. Also, I've had a situation that was not like this. It was not this intense, but I had a situation similar in New York where there was a guy that got on to the train. If you've ever taken the train in New York, you know that you're in your car, right? Your train car, and there's doors on either side. This dude came through the train car, and he was like, "Showtime, ladies and gentlemen, showtime!" And then started playing the music. And when he was playing the music on his boombox, he started dancing on the poles and he was flipping around. He was very good, right? Then a guy came through the other car door and was like yelling over the music, by the way, "Ladies and gentlemen, I'm down on my luck at the moment, but I got a song in my heart. I want to share it with you. I'm taking donations if y'all are willing, if you can find in your heart." And then he started singing, and I'm not gonna lie, the singing was it was fine. It was like it wasn't like that bad, but it wasn't like oh wow, right? And so then this guy is trying to dance, but then the song that because he's singing "I Believe I Can Fly." This guy is dancing, and I don't know, it's just a beat, like it's just an upbeat beat, but the guy is singing I Believe I Can Fly just loud enough that it really is like bumming everybody out. And so that he tried to still dance, and he's still doing his flips too, because he's got the momentum going from the flips he was doing before this guy even came in. And he's like catching his hat on his head and stuff and doing all the tricks. And they're very good tricks, but everyone is getting progressively sadder, because I Believe I Can Fly over here is getting closer, right? Because he started singing at the car door of the train car, and now he's walking towards this other performer. So then this guy stops dancing and is just kind of saying under his breath, and I can hear him because I'm sitting closer to the dancer than I am to the singer, and he's like, "Bro, what are you doing, bruh? And then he turns off his music, and he's like, "I'm trying to do something here." And the guy just starts singing louder, like actively ignoring, trying to drown out that guy talking to him. So then the dancer just starts booing. He started just a one man boo squad, and getting booed is bad enough, but getting booed by one person who you know means it. I can't believe this dude didn't stop singing, right? Because he started singing right before chorus. Because I think he wanted the chorus to hit right when the train doors were going to open so then he could get the donations up. So he had planned it out. So my man is belting right now, and the other guy's like, boo, boo. And then he not booing well. So then I'm not trying to judge his booing, because I guess booing is just like it's just an emotion. But his boo is drowning. So something was wrong with his throat, because he was like, boo, boo. And it wasn't like this, but it was just as tense. I'll say that. Like, I felt like how some of those people must have felt passing by their cars, seeing a dude breathe fire on dudes trying to play guitars, you know? Let me see. The singer does not know how to take turns. Rachel, you're exactly right. It didn't have to be like this. This was not necessary. Ren, is it Ren Lemieux? I'm sorry if I'm getting your name wrong. Street mimes are worse. That's because, okay, the way that I've only seen a couple mimes in my entire life, but the way a mime, I think it's because they're not allowed to talk, the way they get like aggressive and irate, because you can't, at a certain point, you can't tell it's part of the performance anymore, you know, because they'll do the little like thing to you, but then sometimes they really look like they're trying to bow up to you because it's part of their character, or you can't tell if they're really mad or something. Mimes are wilding out here. I would love to, if it had been a mime instead of a singer, and this guy just starts booing a mime. This dude over here, boo. Oh man, that'd be great. Yeah, Sarah Walker says street mimes are mean. I'm saying I've had a couple of experiences where I've witnessed mimes kind of getting, it wasn't like the mariachi thing, but it was a little like, maybe it was a character he was trying to play, but he really did seem like he was trying to bow up to people. And it's like, if you this angry, just scream. That would fix all of it. Just like let it out, you know? Well, that's all we have today for good news. I'm Josh Johnson. Thank you so much for tuning in. And once again, I'm going to be on the road. I'm going to be in Kansas City soon. I'm going to be in Philly after that. I'm going to be in Boston. I'm going to be in New York, Portland, Orlando. Look at this. Look at this thing. Wait. I'm going to get it right. This thing. Look at this. And if you don't see your city, let me know you want me to come to your city. And if you do see your city, go look for tickets. If you can't get tickets, join the email wait list, because you'll be the first to be notified of newly released tickets, or if there's an added show, you can get your tickets there. Thank you so much. We actually were trending number 6 today on YouTube, which is absolutely insane. That's crazy stuff. Like when I started making these videos and putting out stand-up, I was just trying to have fun and talk about the news and just have a good time with y'all. And, you know, you've built it up to this thing that I couldn't have even imagined, for real. So thank you so much, because none of this happens without you. Every single aspect of it, every time you tune in, every comment, I appreciate y'all so much, and I'm doing my best to try to get to, like, I know that some of y'all text me and stuff like that. I'm doing my best to try to text back as much as I can. I definitely fall horrifically behind, so be patient with me on that. But thank you so much for everything that y'all have done. Every like, every comment, every share. I really want to be building community with y'all and be able to uplift other artists and other comics and let me know about the people that you think are dope, you know, because I want to be able to one day be in a place where I can put people on the way that people have put me on. So thank you so much. If you know of a really dope comic that you enjoy, I want you to put their name in the chat right now so other people can see it and other people can check them out. I'll get it started. Shane Torres is an absolutely amazing comedian. He's a good friend. He's so funny. Nathan McIntosh has specials on YouTube that you could check out right now. You can literally check them out right now he is a brilliant writer, and he is one of the people that has the type of stage presence that like lets you know you're in for a treat when you see him at a show, right? Khalees Hawkins is great. Like as many names as you can think of, for real. Put people in there. Alonzo Bowden. Yeah, as many. John Marco's amazing. Nori Davis. Liz Mealy is absolutely fantastic. I've reminded people that she has specials before, but check out her specials that are also on YouTube. Stavros, all of these people are absolutely phenomenal comedians. Zoltan, check out Zoltan. Ashley Gavin, all of these people, if I'm lucky enough to call them friends, I am singing their praises because I know them personally. And if I have not met them yet, I look forward to. But please put someone in there that you really enjoy their work so that other people can find them and also enjoy their work. Dina Hashim is great. Mateo Lane is fantastic. Y'all, please spread as much good vibes and love as you can. I will be